Which actor from the trial of the Chicago 7 is an avid LGBTQ activist? Does the cast stand up for equal rights as much as the real-life people did? Do any of the actors actually look like their characters? Sacha Baron Cohen as Abby Hoffman. British-born Sacha Baron Cohen was the perfect choice to play Abby Hoffman. He is known for playing satirical roles. He was the man behind Borat from 2006. This hilarious comedy is a stark contrast to the series content we see in the trial of the Chicago 7. Thankfully, Borat will be getting its own sequel soon enough. In real life, Abby Hoffman looks slightly zany, wouldn't you agree? Maybe he wasn't so easy on the eyes, but he was known for being a key figure and leader in the 60s and 70s for his anti-war activism. He co-founded the Youth International Party and was a major player in the Flower Power movement, a group of people passively fighting against violence by offering flowers to law enforcement officials who were yielding weapons. Although he was a purely patriotic hero to most, Abby Hoffman became somewhat of a controversial activist after writing books and joining several protests. Along with President Carter's daughter Amy, Hoffman was arrested for protesting the actions of the CIA. It's sad to say, but he took his own life years later in 1989. Jeremy Strong as Jerry Rubin. Jeremy Strong is an outlandishly diverse actor, so it just made sense that producers would pick him for the part of Jerry Rubin. Where else do you recognize Jeremy Strong from? He's been the star of Succession since 2018. The show has already won Primetime Emmy and Golden Globe Awards, so it's no surprise an actor like Jeremy Strong would be chosen. In Succession, he plays the role of a man dedicated to business success. Similarly enough, real-life Jerry Rubin eventually shifted his focus to business as well. When it comes to activism and standing up for what's right, Jeremy Strong has been pushing for more ethnic diversity in Hollywood. He and the character he plays have quite a lot in common if you ask us. Another one to kick up dust against war in the 60s and 70s is Jerry Rubin himself. In real life, Jerry Rubin looked like this. Just like Abby Hoffman, Jerry Rubin was also a co-founder of the Youth International Party. His game plan in the 60s and 70s revolved around getting more people to focus on his cause so that more listening ears could hear him out and better understand his views. The way he went about doing that involved wearing different costumes and responding to most situations with humor rather than seriousness. Fun fact about Jerry Rubin? He invested in Apple way before Apple grew to be what it is today. He switched from a life of activism to a life of entrepreneurship. He passed away in 1994 after accidentally getting hit by a car. Yahya AbdulMateen II as Bobby Seale. The highly established actor Yahya AbdulMateen II was chosen for the crucial role of Bobby Seale. Watchmen, Aquaman, and The Greatest Showman are some of the other roles he has landed in recent years. His role in the trial of the Chicago 7 will easily top his list for being one of the most influential and historically important roles of his career. In reference to his career as an actor and the influence he has on the world through activism, AbdulMateen told Deadline, "Art can be activism, and our artwork definitely has the power to influence. It has the power to invoke a conversation that has the power to make people uncomfortable." He and Bobby Seale can relate on this wildly important subject. Here is the real Bobby Seale, looking very dedicated to the cause. Mr. Seale is very well known for co-founding. Bobby Seale co-founded the Black Panther Party, one of the biggest civil rights parties in history. As big as it was, the Black Panther Party was only just the beginning for this visionary. Bobby Seale cared about bringing freedom and service into the Black community more than anything. He ended up getting charged as the 8th member of the Chicago 7, despite the fact that no evidence proved his involvement in their protest planning. He dealt with dreadful and appalling racially charged mistreatment in the courtroom at the time. He is still alive today, and he openly shares the stories of his history. Eddie Redmayne as Tom Hayden. Anyone who watches anything knows who Eddie Redmayne is. The talented star plays the role of Tom Hayden. Most people recognize Eddie from the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movie franchise, written by J.K. Rowling. She definitely knows how to churn out movie-watching gold. The Harry Potter franchise will never be forgotten. While Tom Hayden is a man who is openly advocating for civil rights equality, Eddie Redmayne has openly advocated for LGBTQ equality, proving that both men are willing to speak up for what they believe in. Eddie might have starred in films written by J.K. Rowling, but he publicly disagreed with her controversial opinions on trans people. He told Variety, "I disagree with Joe's comments. Trans women are women, trans men are men, and non-binary identities are valid. I would never want to speak on behalf of the community, but I do know that my dear transgender friends and colleagues are tired of this constant questioning of their identities." Take a look at the real Tom Hayden. Before his death in 2016, Tom Hayden was known for being one of the most recognized and popular members of the Chicago 7. One of the biggest reasons why is that he was married to Jane Fonda from 1973 to 1990. He went to prison for participating in the Freedom Rides, a civil rights event where activists drove interstate buses into segregated southern states. Tom Hayden was all about anti-war ideologies, writing books, and eventually he served in both houses of California's state legislature. Alex Sharp as Rennie Davis. Alex Sharp turns in one of his best performances as Rennie Davis. It's clear he was the right pick for the part. He is an English actor who is still making a name for himself, but he has already won a Tony Award for his time in the play Curious Incident. The real-life Rennie Davis was an anti-war activist and a member of the Students for a Democratic Society group. In 1996, he went with Tom Hayden to Chicago to speak out about their political views, but it's been a while since he's done something like that. These days, he's a business consultant. Although Alex Sharp and Rennie Davis might not look too similar when it comes to their physical appearances, they shared the importance of having a formal education in common. Alex attended Juilliard, while Rennie attended Oberlin. Daniel Flaherty as Jonfreunds. Daniel Flaherty plays Jonfreunds. Once upon a time, Daniel Flaherty starred in the US version of the show Skins, way before he was part of the Chicago 7. The character Daniel played on Skins was known for partying hard, messing with mind-altering substances, and getting into trouble. His representation of Jonfreunds couldn't be more an opposite. In real life, Jonfreunds looked like this, and unlike the other fictional characters Daniel Flaherty once played, John was all about serious business. He was pretty different in comparison to the rest of the people on this list. Instead of having a background in social justice, his background was in chemistry. John worked in a chem field before and after going to trial with the rest of the young men. Later on, he taught the subject of chemistry in Vermont. Most recently, he retired from UCLA's School of Public Health. Noah Robbins as Lee Weiner. Noah Robbins is the actor we see as Lee Weiner. Most recently, he was part of the movie The Assistant alongside Julie Garner in 2019. His role in the trial of the Chicago 7 will be pivotal to his career. When the trial of the Chicago 7 was taking place, Lee Weiner was a doctoral candidate. After the trial ended, he pursued a career in the world of academics. He started working at Rutgers University in their sociology department. He is part of a few awesome organizations, and he's also released a memoir about his personal life experiences. John Carroll Lynch as David Dellinger. John Carroll Lynch knocks it out of the park as David Dellinger. It's easy for most people to recognize him from American Horror Story. The haunting and entertaining TV show is super different from the true story trial movie that Lynch is part of now. David Dellinger was a man who stood for nonviolent social change. During World War II, he was put in prison for protesting and trying to spread awareness about his beliefs. He passed away in 2004, but before that, he was part of many social movements that have impacted the way society is towards each other to this very day. John Carroll Lynch and David Dellinger already look fairly similar, but they have something else in common outside of a focus on activism. They both had long, happy marriages. Lynch has been married to his wife since 1997, and Dellinger was married to his wife from 1942 until the day he passed away. Frank Langella as Judge Julius Hoffman. The role of Judge Julius Hoffman is a tough and unlikable role to play, but Frank Langella was up for the challenge. He is a seasoned actor from movies like Robot and Frank, 1979's Dracula, and Frost Nixon. His decades of acting experience made him perfect for such an intense movie based on a true story. In real life, Judge Julius Hoffman was considered biased and brutal based on the way he handled the Chicago 7 trial. Judges are supposed to take an objective approach, but he didn't. He passed away of natural causes in 1983, but the year before that, he was told he wasn't allowed to take on any new cases because of the way he mishandled the Chicago 7. At least his unfair treatment of the case didn't go ignored. He was ultimately punished for his behavior right before he passed away. Luckily, Frank Langella is nothing like the real-life Julius Hoffman was. Did you feel like the movie gave the true story justice? In your opinion, which real-life activist deserves so much more clout? Share with us in the comments below, and don't forget to stay awesome.